Boardroom, Chapter 15, Part A. How many times have we been through this? Maybe 30. Luke knew exactly it was 28. How many times have we succeeded? Bells said, exasperation creasing his strong-featured face 100 directions. Not a one, Knapp said, interrupting the two. That's right, boys, Jez said, twirling her sinewy, raven-haired, dark-skinned body 360 degrees. She tipped over to Bells and eased her derriere onto his lap, squirming just enough to get the desired effect. She then rotated her long neck 180 degrees and leaned over to kiss Bells. Look, honey, I'm going to have Bells tonight. Care to join us? Let's keep the frivolity out of this, Ed said, slamming his fist down on the table. We got work to do, and if we lose our focus, well, we're kaput, finished. Sayonara. Ed had been working feverishly to develop some weapon or method to crack Earth's defenses. But the harder he worked, the more frustrated he had become. Nothing worked. Pops had put a type of shield around this tiny little planet with a tiny little man on it. For the life of Ed and his weapon research team, they couldn't break through it. Luke rose slowly from his chair and walked over to Ed. He put his hand over Ed's still clenched fist, looked him squarely in the eye, and said in a calm voice, "Keep trying." Since the line in the sand meeting, the hierarchy under Bell's leadership had begun to change. There had been a 100-year grace period when angels on both sides of the line, or aisle as it came to be known, could come and go freely. Many did switch allegiance back and forth, and this activity came to be viewed as kind of a joke. Most thought the grace period was only a sham and things would continue as they had forever. But by the end of the 100-year period, most had crystallized their position fairly well. Most could no longer be swayed from one side to the other. Pop's side was referred to as the God's sons, and Bell's side was as evil sons. Evil was Bell's woman at the time. Over the 100-year period, the names evolved into good and evil. What drove both sides crazy was Pop's continuing to create. He performed creation after creation, seeming to the angels that his pace of creating was increasing. He set up planet after little planet, creating new flora and fauna for each one. Pops would then tell Gabe and Bells to go down on each planet, morph into creatures similar to the ones on the said planet, and try to influence them toward the side of Good Core or Evil Inc. 28 straight times on 28 different created planets, Gabe and Good Core had won the favor of the beings there. Number 28 was a beautiful little planet in the Andromeda Galaxy, A4. On this planet, called Angelus, all flora and fauna were totally unique, but this time Pops had created a population of mini-angels. They were confined to their planet and referred to as Angelinos. Try as they might, Bells and the boys could not convince even one mini to abandon Pops. Every one of the Evil Inc. top dogs was involved and gave it their all. Pops had eliminated the one-year schooling sessions he arranged on all 27 of the other planets prior to letting Good Core and Evil Inc. have at it. On the final day of the one-year trial on A4, Bells almost talked one of the minis into taking the sword against another mini just to see what it would feel like to kill another being. Bells assured the mini that even if he did kill his neighbor, Pops would repair him and make him good as new. He told the Angelina the feeling of power he would have after killing his neighbor would be so wonderful, so satisfying, but would cause no trouble, no terrible consequences. Things would go on as before with no problems. The mini-angel George pondered the issue for a long time, but finally, after much discussion with morphs of Gabe and the others on both sides, George thought better of it. George's discussions led to a number of skirmishes between the two factions. Each side continued to blame the other, and after the 28th straight victory by Good Core, many of the mini-angels were offered promotions to full-size Good Core Team Angels. Surprisingly, few accepted the promotion. They liked their little planet Angelus just fine. But by 4004 BC, all skirmishing came to an abrupt halt. All angels and all intelligent beings in the universe stopped to watch with the keenest of interest as the miracle that would be forever known as planet Earth took shape over a 6-day period. No angel was capable of grasping the significance of this brief time period. After Pop, Spirit, and Junior rested on the day after the 6-day construction, they resumed their work right away on the following day. Pops and Spirit began to work on the portion of the planet around its equator that was yet incomplete. No one had ever seen the spectacular flora and fauna that was painstakingly being crafted on a band of land 1,000 miles wide, which wrapped completely around the center of the equatorial area of this new planet. This band of land was fed by 4 rivers made up of a substance called water that flowed through and nourished the garden spot, as Spirit called it. She gave updates at the end of each day explaining what had been accomplished that day and what would be planned for the next. These updates were broadcast universe-wide. The rest day became a ritual on the planet called Earth, as it was in all the universe. Though the new being Adam was told of the angel faction, he was not allowed to see or converse with him. Minnie Jr., the angels came to call him due to his striking resemblance to Junior. Adam was busy exploring his new home. The garden cultivation was in its 4th and final year, and angels in particular gave and Bells noticed a change in Adam's demeanor. He seemed somewhat pensive and went about his daily work in sort of a rote fashion. He didn't go out and explore much like he used to. Adam was 20 feet tall and could travel by running at 60 miles an hour. But he couldn't fly, limiting his activity greatly when compared to angels or even many angels on 28. Those angels could fly but were limited to their planet Angelus. Adam had confronted Pops about being the only one of his kind on planet Earth. He had seen most of his fauna procreating and having offspring and companions, but he had only himself. He was a one-of-a-kind species in all the universe. Pops had Spirit and he had nobody. Pops pointed out that Junior had no one, but Adam was suspicious that Junior probably had a companion up on the moon. Pops told Adam there was no one yet for Junior or him, but Adam continued to press and sulk. Pop, what are we going to do about my brother Adam? Junior asked. He and the little human Adam had become fast friends. And me also. Everyone else everywhere can have a mate if he or she chooses, except him and me. Pop stared at Junior with a furrowed brow. Well, you know what I mean, Junior added, not wanting to upset his father further than he already was, given all the dissension in the universe recently. Son, you got everything in the universe. It's all yours, Spirit mediated. Mom, you know what I mean. Spirit slowly turned her feminine neck and raised her platinum eyebrows as she gave her husband the "he's all yours" stare. Pops took a slow, deep breath and looked first at Spirit, then over at Junior, and then down at his half-empty plate. He shrugged his shoulders, then stood and walked toward the door, patting the waiter on the shoulder in thanks for the good meal. Spirit remained in her stare, and Junior stood and flung his hands in the air. Pops, come on! Pop turned back slowly, all the while staring at the floor so his son could not see the tears welling in his eyes. Finally he said, Tomorrow, watch me.